In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Chosen one, you are not here by accident. This moment was written into your path long before you ever pressed play. Heaven has orchestrated this exact second with precision, because what is about to be spoken over your life is not casual. It is a divine appointment, a spiritual summons, a prophetic confirmation that you have stepped into the edge of a supernatural shift. You can no longer ignore. Anointed one, something in the unseen has already begun to move. Your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. Your steps are being aligned with opportunities you didn't chase. The waiting you called delay has been divine setup. And now you're standing at the threshold of sudden elevation and heaven-sent wealth transfer. What's coming to you will not be earned by hustle alone. It will be released by divine timing. The same timing written in Habakkuk 2:3, where it says the vision will come and it will not delay. Chosen one, this is that moment. The atmosphere around your life is shifting. The spiritual winds are changing direction. God has not just prepared a blessing for you. He has prepared you for the blessing. Breathe open your spirit and lean in. Something holy is about to be unlocked. Chosen one, listen closely, because what I am about to speak into your spirit is not ordinary wisdom and not something a casual listener would ever grasp. This is revelation for the anointed. For those who have been walking through seasons that felt confusing, stretching, lonely, and unpredictable, and you've been wondering why the path has been so narrow and why the preparation has been so intense. It is because heaven has marked you for something weighty, something sacred, something that most people would collapse under if it ever touched their hands. The sudden wealth heading your way is not a coincidence, a lucky break, or a random financial shift. It is a divine appointment, a supernatural assignment, a spiritual release that has been waiting for the exact moment your spirit became strong enough to carry what your heart once thought it was ready for. Anointed one, sudden wealth is not just a blessing, it is a test wrapped in a miracle. It is God revealing what was already written about you long ago. When sudden elevation enters your life, it exposes everything inside you that was quiet when life was simple and predictable. The moment blessings expand, the spirit is confronted with truth. And the truth is that God does not give this kind of increase to impress you, but to inspect you. I learned this the hard way in my own life when I prayed for more without understanding that more reveals who you are, not who you pretend to be. There was a time when I believed I was ready for doors to swing open and opportunities to flood in. But when smaller blessings arrived, I saw how quickly impatience rose, how easily pride tried to whisper, and how fast old wounds tried to shape new decisions. It taught me that God waits until the soul is steady before the blessing becomes heavy. Chosen one, sudden wealth will expose motives you did not know were still hiding. It reveals whether you want influence or whether you want impact, whether you want attention or whether you want assignment. And the fact that heaven is preparing you for this right now means God has inspected your heart and found depth, found humility, found readiness, even if you do not always feel ready yourself. Most people want the reward of wealth without the refinement of wisdom, but you are different. You have endured seasons where God removed people you thought would stay. You survived wilderness moments where you had to walk by faith, not sight. You learn how to stretch a little and trust a lot. You learn how to hear God in the quiet. And because of that, you are becoming the kind of vessel heaven can trust. Sudden wealth is not only coming to increase your life, it is coming to awaken your discipline, your discernment, your divine identity. And let me tell you something from experience. When God begins to increase your life, He also increases your awareness. Wealth does not silence temptation, it amplifies it. It does not erase insecurity. It exposes it. It does not cancel pressure, it magnifies it. I remember a time when I went from having barely enough to suddenly having more than what I was used to. And instead of feeling free, I felt confronted. Confronted with old habits, confronted with old fears, confronted with the parts of me that were still growing. It was then I realized abundance is not a destination, it is an exam. This is why God trains the chosen one in seasons of lack, not to punish you, but to prepare you to carry prosperity with purity. Anointed one, listen, wealth is a magnifier, not a modifier. It will turn up the volume on whatever is already inside you. And this is why God has been dealing with your heart so deeply. This is why you have been going through internal shifts that other people do not see. This is why your spirit has felt stretched, almost like you are being pulled into something bigger than yourself. It is because God does not want your wealth to outgrow your wisdom. He does not want your money to expand faster than your maturity. He does not want your blessings to rise higher than your boundaries. He is shaping you so your wealth does not break you, it builds you. And I need you to hear this part clearly, chosen one. You have already passed tests you didn't know were tests. You walked away from people who appealed to your weakness but were a threat to your calling. You stopped entertaining opportunities that looked good but felt wrong in your spirit. You chose discomfort over compromise. You chose healing over hiding, and you chose growth over ego. Heaven took note of that. God weighed your responses. He watched how you handled the little, and it revealed something powerful about you. You are not driven by greed, you are driven by purpose. Sudden wealth will test people, but heaven is preparing you to pass the test before it arrives. And I want you to understand something personal from my own journey. There was a season when I thought God was withholding from me. I couldn't understand why doors stayed shut and opportunities slipped away. But later, when God finally trusted me with more, I realized the truth. If I had received those blessings too early, I would have lost them. Not because I was ungrateful, but because I wasn't prepared. Preparation is mercy. Delay is protection. Restraint is love. Chosen one, you have now reached the moment where preparation is turning into release. Heaven is shifting, aligning, opening. What is coming is not small, not temporary, not fragile. It is strategic, it is divine, it is earned in the unseen. And it will rest on your life with purpose, weight, and destiny. Chosen one, as you continue to walk through this divine unfolding, I need you to understand something deeply spiritual that most people never recognize until it is too late. Sudden wealth does not simply arrive to elevate your lifestyle. It arrives to expose the environment around you. It reveals who was clapping for your survival but silently resented the idea of your success. Before heaven increases your provision, it increases your perception. Because God will never pour blessings into a life surrounded by hands that are not worthy to touch what He entrusts you with. I learned this painfully during a season when I mistook familiarity for loyalty. There were people I kept close simply because they had always been there yet. When small opportunities started coming my way, their tone shifted, their presence changed, and their support weakened. It was then I realized that history and covenant are not the same. God will often let the wrong ones leave before He lets the right blessings arrive. And chosen ones must accept this pruning as divine protection rather than emotional rejection. You've walked through seasons where people tried to interpret your delay as defeat. But heaven was using that delay to reveal hearts that could not be trusted with your next level. When God hides you, He is not diminishing you. He is disinfecting your atmosphere. He is removing every leaky cup, every draining spirit, every opportunistic companion who only valued you when you were convenient for their comfort. The stillness you felt was not emptiness, it was separation. The silence was not abandonment, it was insulation. The solitude was not punishment. It was preparation for the kind of increase that requires clarity rather than chaos. And chosen one, you passed those seasons with more grace than you realize. You learned how to pray with fewer voices in the room. You learned how to hear God without relying on external validation. You learned how to support yourself when others chose to compete rather than uplift. That internal growth is the very reason heaven is shifting your life now. Because the next phase of your assignment requires a spirit that cannot be manipulated, a heart that cannot be bought, and a mind that cannot be influenced by counterfeit connections. As sudden wealth approaches, the enemy becomes strategic. He cannot stop the blessing anymore, so he attempts to contaminate the vessel. He sends distractions disguised as opportunities, alliances dressed as destiny, and agreements wrapped in promises of acceleration that carry the scent of spiritual compromise. I remember a moment in my own journey when an offer came that looked perfect on paper, promising exposure, income, and influence. Everything in the natural world said yes, but my spirit whispered no. That whisper was quiet but firm. Something in the atmosphere felt misaligned, and I walked away. Only months later did I discover the truth. The opportunity would have tied me into a system rooted in deception and control. If I had signed, I would have forfeited my peace for a platform. That experience taught me that discernment is worth more than any dollar amount, because when God elevates the chosen one, the enemy elevates his tactics. This is why you must trust the discomfort in your spirit. You must honor the hesitation that rises when something does not align with your purpose. Not every open door is divine, and not every partnership is ordained. Heaven will never require you to sacrifice your integrity in exchange for influence. And God will never send a blessing that contradicts your assignment. Chosen one, wealth is not merely financial. It is spiritual weight, divine responsibility, and generational shift. When God increases you, He increases the spiritual warfare around you, because the blessing changes your visibility in the spirit realm. In my journey, I discovered that elevation attracts unseen resistance, and you must anchor yourself in prayer the same way you would anchor a ship in stormy waters. But here is the truth you must hold on to. Warfare is proof of movement, and resistance is confirmation that the enemy sees something rising in you that he cannot stop. The very pressure you feel is evidence that heaven has already approved your next level. You are not being broken. You are being built. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being sharpened. And you are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being opposed because you carry something the enemy fears. This season of preparation is not only about learning how to receive wealth, but learning how to steward it with wisdom, integrity, and spiritual clarity. Wealth without identity becomes a trap. Wealth without healing becomes a battlefield. Wealth without purpose becomes a prison. But wealth in the hands of the chosen one becomes a weapon of restoration. It becomes a tool heaven uses to break generational limitations, open doors for others, fund visions that have been ignored, and release answers to prayers whispered by people you may never meet. You are being raised to handle not only money, but influence, impact, and legacy. And the reason the training has been so intense is because God is shaping the kind of leader who will not crumble under pressure. The kind of giver who will not become prideful. The kind of vessel who can carry abundance without losing purity. Chosen one, what is ahead of you is not small. It is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is a mantle. It is a calling. It is a sign that heaven trusts you with more than most people could ever handle. And as you step toward this sudden wealth, I need you to embrace one truth. You are not rising alone. Every breakthrough carries someone else's deliverance. Every open door carries someone else's freedom. Every resource you receive will ripple into lives you may never see. You are being raised not simply to prosper, but to transform. And this next move of God in your life will confirm everything your spirit has been sensing or chosen one. As you move deeper into this divine unfolding, there is a truth you must accept with maturity and spiritual awareness. Sudden wealth will not only elevate you, it will expose you. It will reveal areas of insecurity that were easy to ignore when life was predictable. It will surface emotional wounds that were manageable when responsibilities were small. It will confront your identity in ways you might not expect, because abundance has a way of awakening the parts of you that silently carried shame, doubt, or fear. I experienced this myself in a season when God elevated my life unexpectedly. Opportunities multiplied, resources increased, people began to treat me differently. For a moment I felt unprepared, almost like a stranger in my own breakthrough. I questioned whether I deserved it, whether it was a mistake, whether I would lose everything as fast as it came. But what I didn't understand then was that the blessing was not testing my finances. It was testing my faith. It was measuring whether my identity was rooted in God or in my history. Wealth can trigger old memories. It can remind you of moments when you felt unworthy, overlooked, dismissed, or underestimated. It can pull you back into a mindset shaped by childhood lack or generational fear. I had to confront the lingering voices that said I wasn't enough. The silent beliefs that said I had to struggle to be valid. The inner critic that questioned every good thing arriving in my life and chosen one. You will face similar moments not because you are weak, but because you are being elevated into a realm your old self was never built to inhabit. Heaven is stretching your identity so it can match the size of your assignment. You're no longer living as who you used to be. You're stepping into who you were always meant to become. This is why God trains your inner world before He expands your outer one. He heals the orphan spirit before He releases inheritance. He breaks the mindset of scarcity before He multiplies your provision. He uproots the belief that you are alone before He entrusts you with responsibility that impacts others. And I have watched Him do this in my own life. There were seasons when I felt abandoned, not realizing God was removing my dependence on people so I could depend on Him. There were seasons when I had just enough, not realizing He was teaching me discipline so abundance wouldn't destroy me. Every tightening was training. Every limitation was alignment. Every silence was strategy. And now when opportunities come, I no longer shrink. I rise into them with authority because I recognize they are not random. They are written. Chosen one. As sudden wealth approaches, you will notice something extraordinary happening around you. People from your past may reappear, not because they have healed, but because they sense something shifting in your life. Some will seek reconciliation without accountability. Some will pretend nothing happened. Some will try to attach themselves to your breakthrough as if they were part of your process. And you will be tempted to prove yourself to remind them of who you are now. But this is where spiritual maturity is required. Wealth gives you options, but wisdom teaches you restraint. Forgiveness does not mean re-entry. Closure does not require conversation. And access is not a reward you owe anyone simply because you have elevated. I had to learn this myself. When someone who hurt me deeply reappeared in my life once things began to turn around for me. For a moment, I felt the urge to flex, to demonstrate my growth, to show what God had done. But something in my spirit whispered that true elevation is silent. The blessing speaks for itself. And I realized that winning with grace is louder than any revenge could ever be. That moment taught me that forgiveness is not about releasing the other person. It's about releasing the version of myself that was tied to that pain. Chosen one, you will face similar moments. Old faces will test your new strength. Old wounds will test your new identity. But you must remember, this wealth is not a weapon to harm others. It is a mirror that reveals how far you have come. Sudden wealth brings access, but it also demands boundaries. It brings influence, but it also demands humility. It brings visibility, but it also demands discernment. You will need to know who is aligned with your purpose and who is attracted to your progress. You will need to recognize who claps for you with sincerity and who claps only to stay close to your spotlight. You will need to understand that some people will love your success because it benefits them, but resent your elevation because it surpasses them. And you must navigate this without becoming hardened. Your heart must remain pure even when your circle becomes smaller. Chosen one. Heavenly wealth is not simply provision, it is positioning. It places you where your voice carries weight, where your influence impacts lives, where your generosity shifts bloodlines, and where your decisions echo beyond your own lifetime. You are stepping into a chapter where wealth is a tool, not an identity, a responsibility, not a trophy, a calling, not a comfort. You are becoming the kind of person who can hold abundance without collapsing beneath it, who can receive without losing humility, who can rise without forgetting the one who lifted you. And this next movement of heaven in your life will confirm that you are no longer who you were. You are stepping fully into who you were chosen to be. Chosen one. As you continue walking into this divine season, I need you to understand that there is a reason heaven has been sharpening your discernment, refining your instincts, and training your spirit to sense what the natural eye cannot catch. Sudden wealth is not simply an increase, it is an unveiling. It reveals intentions, exposes attachments, and uncovers motives that were invisible when your life was quiet. When God raises you, He also raises the level of spiritual warfare assigned to your life. Not because you are weak, but because your influence is growing heavier, and the weight of influence always draws both light and shadow. I learned this firsthand when God began shifting things for me in ways I could not fully explain. People who once overlooked me suddenly became curious. People who once doubted me suddenly wanted access. And people who had no interest in my journey suddenly had opinions about my direction. It was in that season that God whispered something I will never forget. Elevation reveals eyesight. It shows you who saw your worth before the world saw your rise. As sudden wealth approaches your life, you must be prepared for the way the atmosphere around you will shift. Some will celebrate you, but others will feel threatened by you. Some will honor your growth, but others will resent your progress. Some will applaud your elevation, but others will quietly wonder why God chose you instead of them. Their reactions have nothing to do with your character and everything to do with what your blessing exposes in their hearts. The chosen one's rise forces others to confront their stagnation. Your elevation becomes a mirror reflecting decisions they never made, healing they never pursued, and potential they never tapped into. And while you may not intend to trigger anyone, favor has a way of awakening what people thought they had buried. This is why God isolates the chosen one before He elevates them. He removes unnecessary attachments and closes the doors of relationships that cannot survive the oxygen of your next level. In my own journey, I found myself mourning connections I thought would last forever, not realizing God was sparing me from betrayal. There were people who loved my humility, but would have despised my abundance. People who supported my struggle, but could not celebrate my success. People who were comfortable with my potential, but threatened by my manifestation. Heaven saw what I didn't see, and by the time the blessing landed, the wrong voices were already gone. Chosen one, God has done the same for you. Some exits broke in your heart, but they protected your destiny. Some separations felt cruel, but they cleared the space you needed for growth. Some losses felt unfair, but they were divine mercy disguised as disappointment. As sudden wealth approaches, you must understand the difference between covenant and convenience. Covenant stands with you in lack, celebrates you in growth, and protects you in abundance. Convenience stays as long as you are useful, applauds as long as they are comfortable, and disappears when your elevation makes them insecure. Chosen one, the wealth coming to you is too heavy to carry counterfeit support. Heaven will not allow parasites in a season designed for purpose. And this is why every closed door, every silent season, and every unexpected shift in your relationships happened exactly when it did. God was guarding His investment in you. But sudden wealth also demands a new level of self-awareness. It will reveal any part of you that still feels unworthy of increase. It will expose whether you still attach your identity to old narratives, old wounds, old failures, or old labels that no longer describe who you have become. When wealth finally enters your life, it will ask you a question your spirit must be prepared to answer. Do you believe you belong here? I remember the first time God blessed me in a way that exceeded my understanding. I felt the tension between gratitude and disbelief. A part of me felt seen, chosen, worthy, but another part of me felt out of place, almost as if I had walked into a room meant for someone else. That feeling was not humility, it was residue. Residue from a life of being overlooked. Residue from years of people underestimating me. Residue from seasons where lack felt normal and abundance felt impossible. Chosen one, you may feel this same tension, but hear me clearly. You were not invited into this season. You were destined for it. Heaven did not accidentally assign you this breakthrough. God did not deliver this increase to the wrong address. You're stepping into a chapter that was always written for you, and every moment of struggle was rehearsal for the reality you are about to live. Your spirit is catching up to what heaven already prepared. This rising is not about ego, it is about assignment. It is not about showing the world what you have. It is about showing heaven what you can handle. You are not being elevated to become impressive. You are being elevated to become impactful. Wealth is not the reward, it is the responsibility. And heaven has evaluated your character, your endurance, your humility, and your obedience, and found you fit for what others never imagined you could carry. You have survived what was designed to break you. You have endured what others did not see. You have remained faithful when giving up would have been easier. And now heaven is responding. Chosen one, the sudden wealth heading your way is not just a financial blessing. It is a spiritual endorsement. It is heaven saying you are ready. Ready to build, ready to steward, ready to rise, ready to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. And everything you have walked through has prepared you to carry this next chapter with grace, wisdom, and divine authority. I chosen one. As heaven continues aligning your steps, there is a deeper layer of this journey you must prepare your heart for. Sudden wealth will not only change your financial landscape, it will transform the way you walk through life. It carries a spiritual gravity that pulls you into a higher dimension of responsibility, influence, and visibility. The blessing you are stepping into is not random, it is generational. It is the kind of blessing that rewrites family lines, shifts patterns that existed long before you were born, and plants seeds that will outgrow your lifetime. But this kind of increase requires a soul anchored in purpose rather than ego, clarity rather than chaos, and discernment rather than desire. When God trusts you with abundance, He is not merely rewarding your effort. He is revealing your assignment. In my own journey, I discovered that wealth does not simply change your circumstances, it changes your calling. It places you in rooms where decisions are made, where influence shapes futures, and where resources become instruments of impact. And in those rooms, your voice, your values, and your spiritual foundation matter more than ever. Wealth amplifies who you already are. It magnifies your character, your intentions, your priorities. And heaven has spent years shaping these things in you. Because God is not raising you to be rich. He is raising you to be responsible, refined, and spiritually equipped for the mantle resting on your life. There will come a moment when you look at your life and realize you are no longer operating from survival, but from strategy. No longer making decisions based on fear, but based on vision. No longer responding to pressure, but to purpose. This is the shift heaven brings before sudden wealth arrives. God transforms your relationship with resources so that money serves you rather than owns you. And I experienced this shift myself. There was a time when I saw money as security, as relief, as a way out of the pain I once knew. But the more God worked in me, the more I began to understand that true wealth is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you are entrusted to steward, chosen one. The wealth heading toward you is not meant to inflate your life. It is meant to expand your impact. You will find yourself supporting visions that would have died without your yes. Lifting people who once had no voice and planting seeds that grow into opportunities others prayed for. You are becoming a vessel heaven uses to release answers into the world. That is why your heart has been tested so intensely. God is ensuring that abundance does not corrupt you, that influence does not distract you, that success does not detour you. The chosen one's assignment is different. While others chase applause, you will be drawn to purpose. While others seek spotlight, you will seek alignment. While others show off what they have, you will build with what you've been given. And as your influence grows, so will the spiritual warfare surrounding your life. Wealth draws attention, both divine and demonic. When the blessing lands, the enemy will attempt to attach counterfeit opportunities to your momentum. He will send alliances designed to dilute your vision, partners crafted to manipulate your purpose and contracts, wrapped in promises but rooted in bondage. I faced this in a season when everything in my life seemed to accelerate at once. People came with big ideas, big promises, and glittering opportunities. Some spoke my language, mirrored my passion, and flattered my potential. But as I prayed, their spirit did not align with mine. I learned that discernment is not about judging what looks bad. It is about discerning what looks good, but is rooted in darkness. Chosen one, you must trust your spirit more than your eyes. Not every investor is divine. Not every partnership is destiny. Not every opportunity is ordained. Heaven will never require you to compromise your character to climb higher. And you will know when something is not from God, because it will stir confusion rather than clarity, pressure rather than peace, and urgency rather than alignment. The blessing of the Lord adds no sorrow. And anything that brings heaviness to your spirit is not your assignment. As sudden wealth enters your life, you will also begin to feel a shift in how people relate to you. Your elevation will create discomfort in those who have refused to elevate themselves. Some will feel entitled to your increase. Some will expect access just because they knew you before the blessing. Some will resent the ways you're expanding beyond the limitations they accepted for themselves. But chosen one, your journey is not a group assignment. Elevation requires boundaries and wealth requires isolation. Not because you are better, but because you are responsible for more. Your purpose cannot be slowed by people who fear growth. Your assignment cannot be diluted by those who refuse accountability. And your spirit cannot be drained by those who only connect when you have something to give. I had to learn how to honor people without giving them access, how to love them without letting them lead me, and how to help them without allowing them to hinder me. That wisdom saved my purpose, and it will save yours too. You must protect your peace with the same intensity that you protect your wealth, because peace is the atmosphere where wisdom grows, and wisdom is the foundation of divine stewardship. Chosen one, what is coming to you is not temporary abundance, it is spiritual authorization. Heaven is promoting you into a realm where your presence carries weight. Your decisions shape futures and your obedience impacts nations. You are stepping into a chapter where your wealth is not just currency, it is calling. And everything you have endured was designed to prepare you for the magnitude of this mantle. You are not rising by accident. You are rising by assignment. And heaven is standing behind you. I chosen one. As you continue to step toward the realm of sudden wealth, there is a dimension of this journey that many overlook. Yet, it is one of the most spiritually significant parts of your elevation. Wealth will not just empower you, it will alter the spiritual landscape around you. The truth that many ignore is this: when God increases you, He also increases the level of eyes that are watching you. Some eyes are divine, assigned to bless, guide, and protect you. But other eyes are predatory, sent to monitor, mimic, and manipulate. And before the blessing arrives, heaven ensures that your discernment becomes sharp enough to differentiate between the two. This is why you have been sensing shifts in your atmosphere. This is why certain people suddenly feel distant, uninterested, or disconnected. It is heaven removing wrong eyes so you can rise without becoming prey. There was a season in my own life when I did not understand this separation. People I cared about grew cold without reason. Some became passive-aggressive, others withdrawn, and some simply disappeared. At first I took it personally. I questioned myself, wondering if I had done something wrong. But as I continued seeking God, He revealed something profound. He showed me that some people had been silently studying me, trying to measure when the breakthrough would happen. They were waiting not to celebrate, but to take advantage. They would have drained my increase faster than I could receive it. And their presence would have created spiritual leakage in a season meant for overflow. That was when I learned that separation is not always rejection. Sometimes it is spiritual insulation. Heaven was creating space around me so that when the blessing came, it would not be stolen before it grew roots. Chosen one, you are experiencing this same spiritual insulation. Some people are not meant to be in the room when God reveals what He has been building in secret. Some cannot handle the weight of your calling. Some cannot handle the truth about what you carry. Many people love the humble version of you because it makes them comfortable. But the elevated version of you will expose insecurities in those who refuse to grow. That is why God is removing people before He releases provision. Your destiny cannot be entrusted to hands that shake with envy. Your wealth cannot be surrounded by spirits that feed on insecurity. And your increase cannot flourish in environments contaminated by jealousy. But heaven is not only removing wrong people, it is revealing financial gatekeepers who have already been watching you with pure motives. You may not realize it, but your consistency, your integrity, your quiet obedience, and your spiritual resilience have attracted people who carry the power to unlock opportunities money alone cannot buy. In my own journey, I discovered that people with influence often observe silently before they invest openly. They are not impressed by noise. They are drawn to authenticity. They watch how you handle disappointment. They observe how you treat people who can give you nothing. They pay attention to how you speak, how you live, and how you carry yourself in the small seasons. And when they see humility, discipline, and purpose wrapped in spiritual maturity, they recognize someone heaven can trust. Chosen one, you have been observed by the right eyes. Heaven has whispered your name in circles you have not entered yet. Your character has spoken louder than your circumstances. Your integrity has traveled further than your voice. And there are people, divine connections, who are waiting for the moment heaven gives them permission to bless you. It will happen suddenly, unexpectedly, and unmistakably. When the timing is right, the door will open in such a way that you will know it was never your effort. It was God's orchestration. But with this divine orchestration comes another layer of spiritual pressure. Sudden wealth will trigger people who believe you skipped the line. There will be individuals who once saw themselves above you, more qualified than you, more deserving than you. But when God elevates the chosen one, He does not check resumes. He checks hearts. And when people see God lifting you beyond their expectations, their insecurities may rise. They may question your motives, gossip about your journey, or minimize your progress. They may try to reinterpret your humility as weakness or your success as arrogance. But chosen one, you must rise above the noise. Do not fight for validation from people who refuse to value you when you had nothing. Your rise is not a threat. It is a prophecy fulfilled. When the wealth arrives, isolation will increase. Not because you are becoming distant, but because God is narrowing your circle so you can move with precision. You will notice that conversations feel different. Gatherings feel heavy and certain atmospheres feel spiritually off. This is because you are stepping into a frequency that not everyone can match. Wealth changes your environment because it changes your assignment. And your assignment requires clarity, sanctity, and intentionality. You cannot pour into everything or everyone anymore. You cannot stretch yourself thin to prove your loyalty. You cannot shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your elevation requires boundaries, and your wealth requires wisdom. Chosen one, you are being prepared for a life where your presence carries weight, where your decisions carry influence, and where your voice carries authority. Heaven is shaping you into someone who can walk into rooms with confidence and sit at tables built for history makers. And as you step into this chapter, may you remember this truth. You are not rising to fit in. You are rising to fulfill. You are not being elevated to be seen. You are being elevated to be strategic. And you are not becoming prosperous for applause. You are becoming prosperous for assignment. The weight on your life is not ordinary. And the wealth coming to you is not random. Heaven is preparing you for impact. Chosen one, as you move deeper into this spiritual preparation, there is a reality you must face with courage and awareness. Sudden wealth will not only elevate your life, it will isolate you in ways you never expected. And this isolation is not punishment, it is refinement. God cannot allow every voice, every opinion, or every influence into the next dimension of your destiny. Some people are only called to your past, not your purpose. Some were only meant to walk with you in struggle, not in success. And others were assigned to your wilderness, but cannot enter your promised land because their presence would corrupt the blessing God is releasing. In my own journey, there was a moment when I realized that wealth is not just something you possess, it is something you must protect. When my life began to shift, I noticed subtle changes. People who once cheered for me began to compete with me. People who once encouraged me began to question me. And people who once walked beside me began to distance themselves because the version of me that God was raising looked nothing like the version they were comfortable with. At first, I tried to hold on to these connections, believing loyalty required keeping everyone close. But God showed me something vital. Not everyone who starts with you is meant to stay with you. Elevation does not expose your heart, it exposes theirs. Isolation becomes a sanctuary for the chosen one. It forces you to hear God clearly without the noise of opinions or expectations. It teaches you to trust your intuition, to walk boldly, and to release the need for approval. And even though this solitude can feel heavy, it is actually heaven creating spiritual breathing room around your life. When you are assigned sudden wealth, God removes distractions so your discernment remains sharp. You must learn to recognize who is for you, who is with you, and who is near you for reasons that have nothing to do with love. Chosen one, the burden of being elevated is that you will realize how few people can genuinely celebrate you. Jealousy hides itself well in seasons of struggle. It is only exposed when blessings begin to flow. Some will not congratulate you because your breakthrough will remind them of the risk they never took. Some will not applaud you because your courage exposes their fear. And others will not support you because your success reveals their complacency. This is the unspoken truth of divine elevation. It reveals the spiritual state of the people around you. But do not let this discourage you. Let it free you, because the chosen one is never meant to carry a crowd. You are meant to carry a calling, and callings require space, solitude, and sanctification. God will give you a small circle, but it will be a pure circle. He will give you fewer voices, but they will be trustworthy voices. And He will give you fewer hands, but they will be hands that can hold the weight of what you are building. Heaven is not depriving you, it is preparing you. However, the isolation will not just come from the shifting of relationships. It will also come from the elevation of your inner world. As sudden wealth approaches, you will begin to see life differently. You will make decisions others do not understand. You will move in wisdom that confuses those still tied to old patterns. You will protect your energy in ways people misinterpret as pride, not realizing it is stewardship, not arrogance. You will find yourself craving deeper conversations, purposeful connections, and spiritually aligned relationships. This inner shift is not you becoming distant. It is you becoming aligned with your assignment. Eventually, you will recognize that isolation is not a lack of support. It is a sign of divine selection. You are being set apart because what you carry cannot be diluted. Your spirit cannot be entangled. Your purpose cannot be compromised. And the wealth coming to you requires a level of emotional stability that cannot be built in environments filled with chaos, envy, and inconsistency. God is not isolating you to break you. He is isolating you to build you. But as isolation deepens, so does discernment. You will begin to notice spiritual traps disguised as opportunities, offers that look perfect on paper but feel wrong in your spirit. People who praise you publicly but envy you privately. Invitations that promise elevation but require the sacrifice of your peace. And this is where your spiritual training becomes vital. The chosen one must learn to read the spirit behind an opportunity, not just the words spoken in front of it. When God elevates you, the enemy elevates his tactics. Counterfeit blessings will come packaged in excellence. False alliances will come wrapped in charisma. But your spirit will know the difference. Peace will tell you the truth faster than logic ever will. Chosen one, the isolation you feel is not emptiness. It is clarity. It is heaven protecting the investment inside you. It is God ensuring that when sudden wealth arrives, it lands in soil that is stable, anchored, and pure. You are not being separated. You are being sanctified. And this sanctification is creating the character, the strength, and the discernment you will need to sustain what God is about to release. You must remember this. The chosen one is never alone. You are surrounded by angels, by purpose, by protection, and by divine alignment. The loneliness is temporary, but the calling is eternal. And the wealth coming to you will not only change your life, it will require a transformed version of you to hold it without breaking. Heaven is shaping that version right now. Chosen one, as you step further into the divine unfolding of your destiny, you must understand that sudden wealth comes with more than prosperity. It comes with spiritual traps disguised as opportunities. These traps are subtle, strategic, and often appear when you are standing closest to breakthrough. They don't show up as obvious attacks. They arrive wrapped in promises of elevation, influence, and acceleration. And the only way To recognize them is through the discernment God has been sharpening in your spirit over these past seasons. I learned this truth deeply when I began encountering opportunities that looked flawless, contracts filled with potential partnerships built on flattery, alliances that mirrored my vision so perfectly that my mind said yes before my spirit had a chance to speak. But each time I slowed down long enough to listen, something felt off. A weight would settle in my chest, a tightening in my spirit, a stillness that made me pause. And pausing saved my purpose more times than I can count. You must understand this, chosen one. When God elevates you, He protects you through discernment, not through ease. Sometimes the greatest blessing He gives is the ability to feel when something that looks right is spiritually wrong. The enemy cannot stop your wealth, but he can attempt to contaminate it. He can attempt to weave bondage into your blessing by offering you opportunities that promise fast success, but require silent compromise. He will send individuals who speak your language perfectly, yet carry motives that are misaligned with heaven. He will position people near you who mirror your calling outwardly, but internally serve systems rooted in darkness. And if you are not spiritually anchored, you may mistake agreement for alignment. In my journey, there was an offer that came during a time when everything in my life seemed to be accelerating. It promised exposure, resources, and connections that would have placed me in rooms I once dreamed of. On the surface, it felt like the breakthrough I had been waiting for, but the peace wasn't there. My spirit felt unsettled. Even though the contract was perfect, the people were charming, and the opportunity seemed divine.
And I